I continue to explore the city of Mati, a hidden beach paradise in the heart of Davao Oriental. Along the shores of the Hican Beach, I meet the Amihan Boys, a group of kids whose passion for skimboarding and surfing is unparalleled. In fact, they have competed abroad and have taken home the top awards. So if I'm going to learn skimboarding, I better learn from the best. And I think I am in very good company as I talk to Bayugyug, a world champion skimboarder. It can't be that difficult. Lesson number 1, start young. Dahican, which means to come in from the sea, is also a favorite nesting site for hawksbills and olive ridley turtles, two species that are nearing extinction. With Dahican as their playground, the kids have grown to be very environmentally conscious and have been trained to take care of the marine life in the area. Mati's surrounding waters are teeming with marine life, and today I hope to meet some of them. I sailed out with the Amihan guys into the Hican's waters just as the sun was rising. June Plaza, one of the guys, has worked closely with researchers from all over the world. From being a fisherman, he has now committed himself to taking care of the marine life in the area. Not too far from shore, we spotted a pod of protruding fins, disappearing and appearing again. We were able to catch up with them, and a big pod of dolphins happily swam alongside and in front of our boat. Seeing a pod this big, thriving in their natural environment is remarkable. Aside from dolphins and marine turtles, the Hican is also home to a species of sea cow known locally as the dugong. We went around the bay in search of the feeding dugongs. Some parts of the bay are also good snorkeling sites. Taking care not to hit any corals with our anchor, Bayugyug, who seems to be able to balance on anything, finds a good place to drop anchor. I went for a swim and spotted healthy corals and seagrass underwater. I also spotted this big colorful jellyfish swimming in the clear waters. We moved to our next stop and anchored our boat off Pujada Bay, where the dugongs are usually seen feeding at this time of the day. Looking at the seagrass, June was able to see where the dugongs have been feeding, and we began to trace their path. But unfortunately, the chewed-up seagrass did not lead us to the elusive dugongs that day. From the Hican, I headed back to the airstrip where Tanya Rabat and Ray Acosta were waiting for me. Ray was flying us on a Bell 206 Jet Ranger. With the coordinates on hand, we flew into the mountainous regions of Caraga. The Mandaya were the earliest settlers in Davao del Norte, and today we are going to visit one of the tribe's remaining villages. We passed one mountain after the other, and we had to climb higher and higher. It felt like being in the lost world, seeing thick jungle and waterfalls below. A smoke signal from the village assured us that we are in the right place. We didn't realize that the village was at an altitude of close to 4,000 feet. Hidden in the mountains is the Mandaya village of Saga. We were welcomed by the chieftain and his daughter along with the rest of the village. Saga is one of the remaining locations in Davao Oriental where descendants of the old Mandayan tribes have preserved the traditional way of life. Mandaya means upstream or upland people. Before beginning to film or interact with the villagers, the ritual sacrifice of a chicken was done and prayers were recited in a free-flowing chant that characterizes the Mandaya language and poetry.
So everybody will take a sip of that wine.
Ensuring unity among those present. Daisy, one of the chieftain's daughters, was my translator and guide through the village. Her father is the Likid, or chieftain, and she and her sister Christine are Jabuki, or Mandaya princesses. Descending from a mix of different races, at the height of maritime exploration, the Mandaya are characterized by having angular features, defined noses, and high foreheads. Planting is one of the main sources of livelihood. Root crops and bananas are cultivated along the sides of the mountains. A kudlong, a two-string guitar, is played during special occasions or simply to entertain. Dancing is an important part of the culture, with the beats dictated by a gimbal drum made of deer skin. Steps usually imitate the movement of birds. Visitors were expected to participate in the dancing. Mayor Alicia More of Caraga, where the village is located, has been working closely with the tribal leaders of the Mandaya. Having their own political structure since ancient times, the Mandaya is governed by a council of elders called the Mangkatadong. The chieftain consults the council in making important decisions for the community. Daisy takes me around the village to closely see the Mandaya way of life. Houses are usually mounted on stilts high above the ground.
Hindi kaya ako sasal.
Tayotab.
Tayotab. So it's bamboo pa rin po siya.
Corn is grown in the mountain slopes, dried and ground using a wood grinder.
Oh, sige, I'll try nga.
Mahirap makatin.
Hindi.
Experience.
I'm very strong.
It is then pounded to take out the husks. Meanwhile, the men of the village are busy making wine made of sugar cane and wild ginger.
Or dito sa isang kawayan.
I see. I can smell the ginger. Maisu.
The Mandaya has a natural inclination for the arts, even crafting ornaments. Carefully embroidered hand-woven cloth called dagmay are made by the women of the village. No pattern is followed, and the intricate design and beadwork is from the weaver's own artistic expression.
Just by feel.
Just by feel, just by imagination and wisdom, kikita mo na lang, sir, nagkaroon na ng magandang output, magandang dagong design.
Yes.
Just like many other traditions, the Mandaya women have been passing the art form to the next generations. I was also privileged to share an authentic Mandaya feast. Freshwater eel, shrimps caught from the streams were cooked in bamboo tubes.
This one?
It's bita, the tadpole.
The tadpole.
Yeah, it's delicious.
This is huge. The frog must be this big.
Just before leaving the village, I wanted to share the joys of flying with the kids and tried to spark their imagination with games and toy airplanes. Hopefully someday, one of these kids will be flying back to their village, bringing home stories from other lands. As a final gesture of thanks, I present the chieftain with a pilot shirt.
Helicopter Saga. He'd prefer the helicopter than the shirt.
Which he replaced with a traditional dagu passed on from one generation to the next. The people's deep commitment in preserving their home's natural beauty and traditional culture is very inspiring. I was happy to remember the joys of riding and flying with friends who share the same excitement. Mati is truly the perfect place to pursue these hobbies. Because when the road ends, a runway begins, and the sky becomes your playground.
This has been your captain, Joy Roa. See you in the next Asian Air Safari!